All right, let's talk about power, but not in the way you usually hear about it. See, most of us are taught that total independence, not needing anyone for anything, is the ultimate goal. But what if I told you that's completely backward? What if real freedom, real security comes from making other people absolutely, utterly dependent on you? To see what I mean, let's go back in time. I want you to meet the Count of Carmagnola. In 15th century Italy, this guy was a rock star. He was a brilliant general who won victory after victory for Venice. He was a hero, celebrated in the streets. So at the very peak of his career, he gets the invitation of a lifetime, a personal dinner with the leader of Venice, the Doge himself. I mean, this is it. This is the ultimate honor. He's probably thinking about the feast, the praise. He must have felt completely untouchable. But as the guards escorted him through the palace, he realized they weren't heading to the dining hall. Instead, they took a detour across the infamous Bridge of Sighs, the walkway that connected the palace to the state prison. And in that one moment, the horrifying truth just crashed down on him. There was no dinner. It was a trap. He was executed the very next day. So, what on earth happened? What was his fatal mistake? Well, it was simple, and it was brutal. He got powerful, sure, but he forgot the most important rule of the game. He never made himself truly necessary. Venice just figured, hey, we can find another general, a younger one, maybe a cheaper one, and just like that, he was disposable. And this is the core idea we're digging into, and it feels wrong at first. We think freedom is about cutting ties, but the real power play? It's about weaving ties so strong, so essential, that other people literally can't function without you. Their dependence on you? That becomes your freedom. Think about it, the lone wolf who lives completely off the grid. He has a lot of freedom maybe, but he has zero power over anyone. Power isn't a thing you hold in isolation. It's always a relationship between people. The real goal isn't to be left alone. It's to put yourself right in the middle of the web, holding all the key threads. So how do you do it? Well, there are basically two main paths you can take. First, there's what we can call the Michelangelo model. This is intensive power. You become so unbelievably good at one specific rare skill that nobody, and I mean nobody, can replace you. Or you can go the other route, the Kissinger model. This is extensive power. You weave yourself into so many different parts of an organization that trying to remove you would make the whole system just fall apart. Now let's look at a true master of this game, Otto von Bismarck. His story is a perfect case study in how to turn a seemingly weak position into the absolute center of power. And this really gets at the value of friction, of doing the hard thing, of playing the long game instead of looking for a quick win. So, what did Bismarck do? He didn't try to buddy up with the strongest guy in the room. No, he did the exact opposite. He found a weak, nervous, indecisive king, and he deliberately made himself the king's backbone. He was the king's brain, his courage, his decisiveness. Whenever the king hesitated, Bismarck was right there to push him. It got to the point where the king couldn't imagine ruling without him. So all Bismarck had to do was threaten to quit, and he'd get whatever he wanted. He wasn't wearing the crown, but you better believe he was running the country. And this story just lays bare the cold, hard logic of the world. Necessity is what makes things happen. People rarely act out of gratitude. They act because they have to. If you don't create a need for yourself, if you're just a nice to have, you will be caught loose the second it's convenient. You have to become a necessity. Okay, for our next story, we're taking this concept to the extreme. This is where being needed isn't just about job security. It's literally a matter of life and death. It's about forging a psychological link so powerful it can stop an executioner cold. Get this, King Louis XI of France had this court astrologer whose predictions were just too good. They kept coming true. The king started to get paranoid. Is this guy a psychic genius, or is he maybe arranging for these things to happen? Either way, he decided the astrologer was too dangerous to live, so he summons him to his private chambers, with guards hiding ready to toss the man out the window. But right before he gives the signal, the king gets a clever little idea. He looks at this man who claims to read the future and asks him one last question. He says, "You're so good at predicting things. Tell me what your fate will be. How long do you have left to live?" And this is where the astrologer proves he's a true genius. He doesn't beg, he doesn't plead. He just looks the king right in the eye, totally calm, and says, "Sire, I shall die just 3 days before your majesty."
boom, in a single sentence, the astrologer linked his own life directly to the king's. Suddenly, killing the astrologer meant starting a 3-day death clock on himself. The king's signal to the guards? It was never given. In fact, not only was the astrologer's life spared, but the king then spent a fortune on the best doctors in the land to keep him healthy for as long as possible. That right there is the perfect illustration of intertwining fates. The image of creeping ivy says it all. You wrap yourself around a source of power, a person, an institution, so tightly, so completely, that tearing you away would cause serious damage to the structure itself. It just becomes easier and a whole lot safer to just let you keep climbing. So we've seen a couple of ways to build this kind of indispensability, but we have to be really honest with ourselves about what this power is actually built on. This strategy is not about getting people to like you. It's not about being popular. It's about something way more primal. Your boss or your king or whoever depends on you. They're not necessarily going to love you for it. In fact, chances are they'll resent you. They'll fear you. And as Machiavelli famously put it, it's better to be feared than loved. Why? Because you can't control love. But fear you can manage. The goal is to make them more afraid of what happens if you leave than they are of keeping you around. And that's the thought I want to leave you with. As you look around at the world, at your job, at our politics, at the technology we all use, start asking yourself, in these incredibly complex webs of dependency, who truly needs who? Because if you can figure that out, you might just find where the real power is hiding.